gotta be kidding. That's like...
Let's get it on!
Hey, fight fans! I can't believe I'm making this video, but Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are gonna go at it. I want to say July 20th, and this has got to stop. This guy, Jake Paul, is a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber. I wouldn't be able to kick anybody's ass, much less a 27-year-old's ass, or much less a 58-year-old's ass. I don't care how trained Jake Paul is. This guy, Mike Tyson, had 44 KOs in his professional career, 6 losses. He's 57. He's had 58 professional fights. 58 professional pro fights. And Jake Paul's 9-1, and he's 27 years old. And the thing about this, this isn't about Jake Paul. This is more about Mike Tyson being great, being awesome, and us having a chance to see that on display. Because when he left boxing, he was a broken man. He was boxing, his last boxing match, he didn't even want to be there. The guy was in a mental hell when he was boxing that day. And he just quit. He just quit. The guy had been put through the ringer. The guy has been up. The guy has been down. The guy has been sideways. Here's a guy who went through a fortune. Here's a kid who was a street kid, robbing people at gunpoint, beating their asses, taking money, going to train with old Casamaro, coming back to the neighborhood on weekends and robbing people. Here's a guy who wanted to live this fantastic life, got married to Robin Givens, and that wasn't gonna happen. You had a guy who was a real street thug, and he got with this prissy woman who was not gonna put up with this guy. So they ended up getting divorced. Not too long after that, Mike Tyson got in trouble, went to prison for rape. You know, a lot of that stuff, it's just up in the air because you don't know. You don't know if it was a factual, if it was just some chick trying to get paid, or if he was just that dumb. The thing is, the only 2 people in that room know is Mike Tyson and the girl that it happened to. I'm not here to judge either one of them, and if one of them did do the raping, then that's not good. But he paid his debt to society, and he's been a stand-up citizen ever since. You know, that guy right there, he even did a one-man show in Las Vegas, I believe, and he talked about his life, about what he went through, what he did in his life, and for him to come back, to go back in the ring, it just goes to show you that this guy, he left boxing, he tattooed his face, and we was like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? But he just kept going. He just kept living. Before you know it, you see him in a movie. You see him in that comedy, The Bachelor Party, I want to say it is. And that movie was, it was a success. You got to see a different side of Mike Tyson. You thought he was, no, it wasn't The Bachelor Party, it was The Hangover. And that movie was a success. And it brought Mike Tyson back to the forefront. Everybody knew you didn't want to mess with Mike Tyson. You don't want to get that guy mad. Because he don't care who you are, he'll bust you in your mouth. Isn't he the one that said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face or punched in the mouth? And that's Mike Tyson. So now you got this 27-year-old kid. I got a 25-year-old kid. And, not that I would put gloves on and fight with the guy. Yeah, he's going to have more endurance. He's about as strong as me, maybe not, maybe a little bit stronger. See, I'm a heavyweight, he'd be a bantamweight, lightweight. He's not as big as me. He's a little smaller. But, I wouldn't want to fight a younger guy. But if you're Mike Tyson, you fought your whole life. You know how to fight. For him, fighting is just a part of who he is. It's an extension of an animal, a bestiality that lives within Mike Tyson. I don't follow these celebrity boxing matches, and definitely I don't follow Jake Paul. For me, it's a disgrace to boxing, because here you got a guy who said, hey, I could be a boxer. I got a YouTube channel. All of a sudden, I'm going to be a boxer. That's bullshit. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not down with that at all. But the reality is that he had a platform. He started promoting his fights. And he started getting some people. People wanted to go see this guy box. And I'm going to tell you right now, just the pure savagery, in my opinion, that Mike Tyson has, this Jake Paul is going to... He's in for a rude awakening. And I'm glad. And this ain't about Jake Paul. Jake Paul's nobody. Mike Tyson is the somebody in here. Especially for people of my age. When I saw Mike Tyson come up, this guy was a wrecking machine. This guy would eliminate his opponent like in 5 seconds. He was just like incredible. He was unstoppable. It was a force of nature. I've never seen anything like that. And I grew up watching Muhammad Ali. I grew up watching Sugar Ray Robinson, Tommy Hagler, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, even George Foreman. I was a young kid when Rumble in the Jungle happened. That happened in 1974. I was about 6 years old, and we saw that boxing match. It was late. It was 3 in the morning when we were watching it. And the reality of it is, George Foreman lost that fight because the old rope-a-dope was in effect. And he got tired. Muhammad Ali outsmarted this guy. Even though George Foreman was also a force of nature, he ended up going up against another force of nature, and that was Muhammad Ali. But Muhammad Ali paid the ultimate price. He died. He died of I want to say Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. He died of Parkinson's, from all the blows to his head. But you know who's still alive is that George Foreman. And even though George Foreman lost that fight and he was defeated, he became a preacher. He went and lived his life. Then when his congregation needed money, he got himself together and he got back into boxing. He was way overweight. He was 38 years old. He was way past his prime. And that's when boxing was really a savage. What's always been a savage sport. And it was even more savage when you're a 38-year-old man. But when Foreman got back in, he was a wrecking machine also. Yeah, he was older, but he was just a machine as well. And now you're going to tell me Jake Paul thinks he's going to go up against one of the greatest boxers that ever boxed. And people are going to say, well, he wasn't technically a great boxer, but he was just a savage. He was an utter savage. And I don't think that time off, yeah, he's going to be older, he's going to be slower, but and he's going to be he could be just as ornery. He grew up. He had to grow up. He was living a horrible life. He was miserable. That guy went and got himself together. He put himself together. And I'm happy for Mike Tyson. I'm glad he became the celebrity that he is. I even like his podcast because he'll say some off-the-wall stuff. If you said something you don't like, he'll try to kick your ass. I mean, come on. That guy, he's a for-real dude, And I'll tell you, this is going to draw a lot of people in because they're going to say, oh, Mike Tyson's coming back. Mike Tyson is only coming back for this one fight. He's not going to make a career of it. And he's just going to show people that, look, I'm Mike Tyson. I'm a force of nature. Jake Paul, you're 9-1. You're going to be 9-2. And hopefully you can walk away. He's not going to hurt him that bad. But I'll tell you right now, Jake Paul better not win this fight. To me, I'd be totally like, that's a bunch of bullshit. Because there's no way. I don't care that Jake Paul is that young and Mike Tyson's that old. Because I'll tell you something right now. Mike Tyson is a force of nature. He's a force of nature. And just because you haven't seen that force of nature for many years doesn't mean he stopped being that guy. He's a more refined version of who he is. I'm looking forward to see Mike Tyson just come back and just give himself that respect, because the last fight that he had, it was just bad. It was just bad for him and bad for his image. But he rebuilt himself. He rebuilt his image. So kudos to Mike Tyson. And Jake Paul, I'm going to say thank you for sacrificing yourself to Mike Tyson. Because just because you did this and you're in that ring, I'm going to tell you something right now. This is for real. And it's for real. And I hope Mike Tyson doesn't take it easy on you. And I hope he teaches you that this little fun and games, this little boxing excursion and making fun of... It's almost like Andy Kaufman making fun of wrestlers. and then a wrestler really getting a hold of him and dropping him in reverse and, you know, putting him in a neck brace. I don't wish anything bad for you, Jake Paul, but I do hope that you realize that there's some people that are for real, and there are some people that are truly over the hill. I mean, if you're thinking Mike Tyson's over the hill and that you have a better than average chance of beating Mike Tyson, I will have to disagree with you strongly. And, you know, for me, it's kind of cool to see an older guy get back in there and show these younger generation individuals that, hey, we can still hang. We still got it in us. You know, you might not have it in us forever, but let it come together. Let it all converge into one moment. We'll have it together for that. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I probably won't bet, but if I'm going to bet, I'm going to bet my money on Mike Tyson. Only because, you know what? Mike Tyson is of my era. You know, if I'm 55, he's 57. 2 years older than me. Could I beat Mike Tyson's ass? Hell no. I wouldn't even think about it. Jake Paul, you know, you're a braver man than most, man. But you know what? You got the platform, you got the money, and you're only going to get paid for getting your ass kicked. Hopefully you get your ass kicked. And hopefully you learn something from that. And I definitely don't want to see a rematch after this. To me, this is truly, what do they call that? Exposition. It's just you know, just for fun. But you know what? If you get a guy like Mike Tyson in the ring, he's in there. That's where he was forged. That's where he was made. That's where he was born to be. So that's why I want to see this boxing match, because I want to see him return to the ring and like kind of put this thing to sleep and say, hey man, I'm leaving this. I'm showing the world that I wasn't a punk when I left. You know, it's just a different version of Mike Tyson, and I'm so happy to be able to see the maturity that man's gone through and all the stuff that's, you know, I don't know him personally, but I've been from being an outsider looking in. You know, you could have, that guy had all the money in the world, but his life sucked. You know, it sucked. That guy had all the money in the world and he still went to prison. Thankfully, he didn't murder anybody, you know, and that he was able to survive. Mike Tyson was lucky that he was able to survive Mike Tyson, and he did, and he prospered. And and that to me is the crux of this story. Is seeing that Mike Tyson, he has a good life. He always had a good life, but he wasn't in a good place emotionally, psychologically, and you know, everybody grows up. That's a story of triumph, and you know, Jake Paul's going to be the conduit for that. So that's all I want to say about this boxing match. I wanted to throw something out there because it's a lot bigger to people my age than it would be to younger people, only because of who Mike Tyson was, where Mike Tyson's been, and how Mike Tyson is today. So my hat's off to Mike Tyson, and I wish you nothing but the best in your upcoming boxing match. So I'll catch you on the flip side, man. Talk to you later.